my name is Jaspreet and I'm back with another video. This week was supposed to be another video, but there were some issues with the audio and either I would have had to record the whole thing again or do a narration, and I wasn't up for either of them. I was just not feeling inspired, to be honest. So most likely there would have been no video this week. But then I unexpectedly received these cutters in the mail today and I was inspired again. Sometimes you need new tools to inspire you. I had placed an order for these about 2 weeks back and they weren't expected to be here before Christmas. And when I saw them in mail today, I knew I had to try it out. And also early this week, Audrey from Audrey Studios had put out a video using these cutters to make small houses. And I had a slightly different project in mind, and it's Tealight holders again. I love Tealight holders. I'm using the same cutters to make these little Tealight holders, and I'll show you how I do this. Just one note, the audio for this video is also going to be slightly off, not up to the mark, because all my mics have died on me. And I was just excited about trying these out in clay, so I recorded them without the fan and the aircon, and you can see I'm already kind of sweating. But that's what you do for the love of clay and to share the process with you all. I hope you enjoy it. Let's just get started. Alright, so here's my clay. It's all compressed and ready to go. Because I'm going to be using these guys for the first time, I'm going to add a little bit of cornstarch. And this is recycled clay. It's kind of soft and mushy at the moment. So the first round, I just quickly cut out these little houses just to test these stamps on the cutter. Now we're actually going to start with the project that I had in mind. So I'm going to take a little bit of cornstarch and just dust it on here. What I'm going to do is just use these guys, the stamps and not the cutters, for this one. Okay, so just do this. And I'm pulling them out, maybe a little bit tricky. I'm leaving a little bit of room between two houses. Let's just play with these two first. Okay, once I have these, I'm going to take my clay knife and leave a little bit of room around and cut out the instead of using these cutters, because they'll give me really narrow or small houses, I'm going to leave a little bit of room and cut these out. You can use a straight edge if you want. I'm just going to freehand them. A little bit of room around both the sides. This is one. Let's do the other two as well while we're here. Now we have our four houses. Now I'm gonna just take a little bit of clay here, and okay, first, if you want, you can just quickly, ideally I would just clean up the houses, just the sides, something like this. Okay, and my plan with these is to just do a quick plain white glaze. I'm not going to do anything, like I'm not going to color these in or fill this in. Clean up the edges, place them on a separate board. I'm just taking a damp sponge and a damp finger and just going around the edges, cleaning them off. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, again using my clay knife, I'm going to make some cuts in these. Okay, I'm going to cut out some windows and some of the doors and things like that. Not everything, but some of these will be just cut out. So I'll use my knife. Actually, I have a scalpel which I think would do a better job because it has a more pointed, end to it, so it will probably do the job a little bit easier. So just cutting off some of these windows. Okay, yeah, if the clay has set up a little bit, it'll be a little bit less messy, but but this time you kind of know me. Patience isn't one of my virtues, especially when I'm trying something new. I want to see what the final thing looks like. I kind of get impatient. So anyway, so I'm just cutting out alternate windows here so that you can see windows in some of them, and the others I'm just removing these out, and then with a damp finger just cleaning off the edges quickly right here. This is my one house kind of cleaned up. I'm going to just turn it around, clean up the back as well, and then let this set up. Now I'm going to let it set up and not hurry because you're going to work on the rest of the bits. This is just going to sit and get a little stiffer. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the others as well. Cut out some windows and some doors. I'm not cutting off all the windows and all the doors because I like how they look. Like, because there are all those details, you're going to actually lose all the details if you cut off everything. And the other thing is that if you cut off everything, it might just fall apart because it's as it is really small. The piece is too small. So I'm not making too many cuts. Making enough, but not cutting off everything. Sometimes, a little tool kind of helps spark some kind of inspiration, helps you get back into it. I was feeling kind of uninspired and bored for some time, and these little houses and Audrey's video kind of pushed me out of that slump. You can actually use a brush also to clean it off. So this is a synthetic brush that I like to use. Just dip it in water, take off the excess, and just go in and clean off the edges and anything else, any sharp edges that you may see here. So once I've cut out the holes, the doors and the windows, I'm going to just take a cookie cutter. This is about 2.5 inches, and cut out a couple of circles. Maybe let's cut out two of these. Okay. Now I'm going to just see here. Here's my tea light holder. That is the objective, right? Making a tea light holder. So I'm going to place this here. And I need a flat surface here, something which I can just cut across. I think there's enough space even after shrinking. This should be okay. So I'm just cutting out, I'm eyeballing it. I'm not being too precise as usual. Just cutting this off here. Okay, same with this one. As you can see, I'm just placing my tea light holder here, giving it a little bit of room all around because you're going to add a little bit of border at the back. And or you can just take this and cut it off, slice it off from one side. Okay, there you go. Now if I look at this one, I'm going to just place it here and see if it works. Just about works. So there are two things you can do. One is, that's it, with this it's not a semicircle but like part of a circle, what you can do is we can just quickly, I'm not going to make it, it's a small project, it's a small little tea light holder, so you can fuss around with adding a coil around it, or something else. Adding a coil or a strip of clay. I'm going to just lift this up like this from the sides, just a little bit of this from the sides, so that there's some support and the tea light doesn't just slide off. That's all. That's my objective. Okay, little bit and while I'm doing that, I'm also pressing the clay, so that's also thinning it down a little bit and pushing it out a little bit, so it's not really making it too small, like it's not shortening the width of the piece so much, but adding a little bit of this border around it. Can you see that? Little bit of pinching just around it. Can you see that? Right, so there's a little bit of support here so that it just doesn't slide off like this. I know it's sticky right now, it's not going to slide off anyway, but just lifting out the edges a tiny bit. Okay, and then this. Okay, I'm going to do the same with this guy as well. I'll show you again. Just slightly pinching and lifting. Okay, pinching and lifting just at the edge, very edge. I'm pressing the edge, and the pressing motion, instead of doing the press plate like straight up, straight here, I'm going to press it up a little bit. That's all. Right, you see now this is not very curved, it's not curved up. I'm going to start pulling it up like this. You can add a coil if you want to, or an additional strip. I just find this whole process of slipping, scoring a little bit not annoying, but just that's an extra step. This I want to keep it simple, like I said. Okay, I'm just pressing it out. My clay is soft. I'm able to just press it and widen it out a little bit. Okay, this was 1/4 of an inch in thickness. Again, I'm doing the same thing here, just pressing it out. And I'm doing all of this when my clay is still soft. There we have it. So there are 2 of these done. I'm going to just take this one first, the house, one of the houses. Okay, I'm going to score this side, and to score I'm going to use my serrated drip dipped in water and score it here. Similarly, let's just bring my board here. I'm going to take this and score this edge. Okay, and then place this on top of this so that it gives a little bit more height. You can add it here as well if that's what you prefer. I want to give it a little bit more height, so I'm adding it on top of this holder at the back, right? So I'm just placing it on top here, and then just kind of standing up straight, looking down. You can see if your house is straight or not, and then pressing down onto the clay. Okay, let's see what this looks like. There you go. Can you see that? Okay, can you see that? Right, that's kind of my objective with this. And again, if you want, you can do a coil at the back. Knowing me, you know what the answer is. Small project, I'm not going to bother with a coil. I'm going to take my brush, dip it in water, take the excess off, and run it along here, sealing everything up a couple of times while I'm holding this straight here. Just make sure this is nice and straight. Okay, and then just going around the edge. Let's just see if this fits. Is there enough room after shrinking for this thing to stay there? You can make this bigger. I've used 2.5 inches. You can use something slightly bigger, maybe 2 3/4, 2.75 inches, up to you. Like I said, this is a make along. We'll know what it looks like once it's all done, but for now this is what I'm doing with this. Okay, just cleaning this up. Again, I'm gonna place this guy in here and see. Might be getting a little bit tighter. So I'm just stretching my clay a little bit to open this up. The other thing you can do is, when you're cutting out your houses, maybe For example, if you're cutting this out, maybe cut something a little longer, like instead of this, instead of cutting right here, you can cut it a little longer, and then place this in the front like this. For this one, I'll probably place it in the and place it in the front like this instead of on top of this. So what this will do is it will give the tea light at the back a little bit more room. That's all. Okay, for this one we'll do the same. We'll add it in the front. Okay, this is done. Let me just show you what this looks like. Oopsie. And that's a little tea light holder for you. There is enough room. I think even after shrinking it should be okay. Let's move on to the next one. Like I said, for this one I'm going to place it in the front and not on top. I'm just pressing my slab a little bit. You can see that's kind of pushing it out and maybe a little bit bigger. You can start with the bigger slab. Okay, let's score the edge now. Instead of the top, I'm scoring the edge. In here, instead of scoring the edge, I'm scoring the back. Okay, and then again, just holding this in place, making sure they're both lined up and they're straight. I'm going to just push it in so that it attaches. I'm not going to try and clean this up from the base, not at this stage, but I will definitely just clean up the back with a synthetic brush. Quick clean up like this. There you go. That's what this looks like from the back. And here's the front. And this is still moving because it stopped, but you kind of get the idea where we're going with this, right? Alright, so now once I've made these, I'm going to let them set up a little bit outside before I clean them up and clean up all the edges and the holes and the, sides and everything, because I can't let it sit like, I can't let it be like this. So I'm going to do that, and that's it. A simple, quick project. I'll add some images at the end of the final product, maybe with a few tea lights so you see what this looks like. Another thing that you can do with these is line up all 4 of them, cut out one straight slab, line up these 4 at the front, the 4 houses at the front, and then make a little a longish tea light holder. Maybe I'll make one of those and add those as well, a photo of that as well. That could be another thing that you could do with this. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this quick little tutorial, and I'll see you soon. I think I might take a little bit of a break from YouTube for the next couple of weeks, maybe until early next year, and I don't know, I'm not sure right now, but I will definitely see you soon, if not in 2024, in 2025 for sure. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas, and wish you all an amazing and a happy new year. See you guys soon.